Joining us now, someone who won their primary big time last night with not with 71% of the vote, but by 71 points. Oh boy, 82% of the vote. Our friend Greg Abbott is with us. Well, 82 is okay, I guess. I mean, you know, not bad, Governor. But congratulations. God bless Texas.
Thank you, Sean, very much.
All right. I had no earthly idea how crazy Tallarico was. I can't imagine. I think he's more radical left than Jasmine Crockett. I think I was pulling for the wrong person. I should have pulled for Tallarico. I'm actually happy he won. With those values that we just went over, how could he possibly win?
Well, first of all, let's go back, Sean, because I think Jasmine Crockett was actually ahead in the polls until Kamala endorsed her. And that's when
that's a good point.
Exactly. Crockett began going downhill after that. But listen, because Tallarico has won, because this is no longer a fight between Democrat versus Democrat, he's been exposed for all the leftist policies that he stood for. As you point out, listen, he's maybe one of the far most radical leftists in the United States. He makes Tim Walz look normal. I can tell you, you talked about some things that have surfaced online today, and trust me, there'll be a whole lot more coming out in the coming days. But important, look at his votes. He's voted to defund the police, voted for open border policies, voted for boys and girls schools and sports. And very important to Texas voters know this. He voted to deny a income tax reduction in the state of Texas. He voted against property tax cuts. He voted in favor of a state income tax. He would be detrimental to the state of Texas and Washington, D.C.
Governor, what do you make of the president when he put out his truth post today that he will endorse either the current Senator Cornyn or Ken Paxton? I know he's fond of both of them. He said he will make the endorsement soon and asked the candidate he doesn't endorse to immediately drop out. It's already been a pretty nasty race, one of the most expensive primaries. I like the idea in principle. Do you think that they will agree to abide by that?
It's a good question, Sean, that obviously I have no clear answer to. I think what the president's trying to achieve is, for one, try to bring a swift resolution to the primaries in the state of Texas so that Republicans can focus on primaries in other parts of the country. But also, I think that Republicans in the state of Texas would like to resolve it themselves. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. And if he makes an endorsement, obviously, he's the most popular Republican in the state of Texas. So his endorsement will carry great weight.
I think you're up there, too. 82% of the vote last night was pretty impressive, Governor. I don't think you're going to have a tough race. I don't care if you had Jasmine Crockett, Tallarico, and whoever you're going to run against together. They couldn't beat you. Thank God, because you've done a great job for the people of Texas. We really appreciate you, Governor. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.